to sit any way that you're comfortable. We won't be here long. We'll actually come to lay down in a second. But I want to explore a little bit what we'll be working on in our class today. And what I want us to work on is strength through the upper back, and in particular, the muscles around the shoulder blades. So when I cue different ways to move the arms, I'll be inviting you to move from the upper back. And you can even think of as the upper back muscles as just kind of a support system for the arms. So we'll start here, just a little practice exercise that we'll do in various positions. Come into this shape, and if you're familiar with ballet, it's kind of like first position, so the elbows are a little bit bent, the hands are lower than the shoulders. And be here for a moment, and just in this position, think about the upper back supporting your arms. Yeah? And then we'll slowly start to open the arms wide, letting the back muscles do that. And there'll be a certain point where you go and you'll be able to see your fingers still in your peripheral. And then if you go beyond that point, it's not so much the upper back anymore, it starts to turn into something else. So we want to hold in the position where it's the upper back and the muscles around the shoulder blades that support the arms. Yeah, awesome. So let's release that, just wiggle a little bit. So that's the bent elbow version, and sometimes it's easier to access the back with the elbows a little bent. Let's try it with the arms straight, same idea. So the arms straight out in front of you. Create some tone through the front, and let the upper back support the movement of the arms widening. And still here, don't go beyond where you can see the fingers in your peripheral. So the hands are just slightly ahead of the torso. Great, and then let that one go. I find that when we do this in our yoga practice, in our just typical poses we do all the time, it creates a lot more stability in the poses. We can hold them longer, and we'll see if that happens today. So let's come down to lay on your back, and if you need to shake out the legs a little bit after sitting, absolutely fine, I always do. And for the moment, you can be with the legs bent or straight, whatever feels comfortable. And let's take the arms out wide with the palms facing up and the hands just ever so slightly lower than the shoulders. Yeah, take a breath in. And as the exhale happens, create some tone through the front of the body. Tiny bend in the elbows, and let the arms just hover barely off the floor. This is on the exhale. And then on the inhale, we set them back down. So simple as that. We'll keep going. Every exhale is a lift of the arms. And every inhale, we set them back down. And a few things. Now, gravity is working differently here in terms of what the arms are doing. Can you still keep the upper back engaged as the arms lift? And if you don't know what that means, just put your brain in the upper back. And another thing to think about is the head of your arm bone, so the front of the shoulder. When we lift the arms up, think about the front of the shoulder actually moving down towards the floor. And when we do that, you might feel the shoulder blade almost like hug in a little bit more on the back. Yeah, let's do last one, and we'll hold for a second, just a moment longer. Yeah. Nice. And then relax the arms. You can give the legs a little wiggle if you like. And now we'll do something more with the lower body, the low belly. Let's take the hands on the belly, below the navel, above the pubic bone, with the fingers facing each other. Legs here can be bent or straight, up to you. Let's take a slow inhale. And as the exhale happens, think about the frontal hip bones moving towards one another. You might feel the fingers subtly moving towards one another. That's on the exhale. And then on the inhale, let it be just a gradual release of that. So take that a few more times. A slow exhale, frontal hip bones move towards each other. And this is very subtle. You might not actually feel them moving. Yeah. Now you might also feel a tiny little mini, almost cat-cow going on, and just let that happen on its own. Don't try to do more or less of what's already happening there. Now, those of you, if anybody has the legs long, do it that way. As the exhale happens, think about reaching forward through your heels and downward through the inner thighs. And that'll just assist in the rest of the whatever else is going on. A couple more times here. Now this is strong, it's slow, it's deep, but it's not aggressive. Yeah, so if you feel the kind of the veins bulging out of your neck or your eyes popping out, you're working too hard. I will do last one like this and then we'll add the arm movement. So the next time you relax, just take a second, let's reset so the arms are in that wide position, hands a little lower than the shoulders. We'll breathe in. And then on the exhale, recreate that in the belly and let the arms lift just barely up off the floor. Yeah, inhale, we set them down. So take that a few more times, and yes, indeed, you'll feel the front of the body working to lift the arms. But think about also the back of the body supporting that lift. Yeah. And if legs are straight, every time you exhale, roll the inner thighs down and press outward through the heels. Great, let's do last one and we'll just hold for an extra moment. Yes, indeed. And then let the arms go, let the legs relax, maybe let the head roll a little side to side. Some ankle circles, wrist circles, anything at all here is fine. Let's bring the knees in towards your chest for a moment. Just give yourself a little squeeze, maybe take a little side to side or circles, anything at all. And then when you are ready, my friends, we'll turn over and meet in the all fours position. Hands and knees, taking your time to get there. And as you sit up here in the all fours position, let's just move around for a second. Anything at all is fine, just to bring some mobility into the spine, wake it up a little bit. And then we'll do some things with the shoulder blades, and I'm going to call it a scapular push-up. So let's just pause here in neutral and notice if your shoulders are kind of bunching up towards your ears. Can you broaden the collarbones, drawing the shoulder blades down back a little bit, but then at the same time lift up slightly through the low belly and through the low ribs. Yeah, let's keep a little bit of tone through the belly the whole time. On the inhale, let the chest sink down, the shoulder blades will move closer together, and then on the exhale, press into the floor, let the upper back rise. And do this a few more times. So it's somewhat similar to cat-cow, but it's not cat-cow. And we want to keep the pelvis and the lower back in neutral the whole time. Yeah. You might notice too that one side goes more easily than the other or just feels different than the other. Yeah. So we'll combine this. We'll actually do some cat-cows, but add this movement in a little bit. So let's pause the next time you press up. Go ahead and let the tailbone and the head drop down. So the back is rounded, you're in cat pose. And then shift back to child's pose and let's lower the elbows either to or towards the floor. And before we come up, don't go anywhere. Try to drag the hands towards your knees. As you lift the hips, you'll re-straighten the arms, collarbones are wide, and we arrive into our cow pose. And then press into the floor, shoulder blades widen as you round into cat, and then child's pose, elbows bent. Create that little pull as the chest comes forward, collarbones are wide, and up we come. So take that a few more times and pay attention to what your shoulder blades are doing as you complete the movements. So in cat pose, they'll separate and they'll round. And then when you come back to child's pose, they're kind of in the middle. And then when we pull the chest forward, they slide down the back and come closer together when we're in the cow. Yeah, so a few more times. It's like a little circular action. Good, good, good. Let's pause in child's pose, and if you're able to tuck the toes under, do. Scooch back through the knees, just to stretch out the feet a little bit. Flip the hands over so you're on the elbows and forearms, and just curl the fingers in and out a couple of times, giving the hands a break, because we're about to come back onto the hands. All right, let's reset. Hands come down, back to our all fours. If you need to shake out the feet a little bit, go ahead and do. And then in this position, let's one more time broaden the collarbones, lift a little bit through the belly, take the knees a bit wider than you normally would for this position, and press down through the left hand. The right arm will lift up. You can bend the elbow a little bit out to the side, and then set the arm down and we'll change sides. Now, a few things to think about here. We want to really stabilize through the core, through the torso, so as you change sides, there's not a big shift going on. Yeah, another thing to think about is the lifting arm. Can you think about lifting it from the muscles surrounding the shoulder blade? Now let that be what engages. The arm comes up. But what I also mean to say is we don't want it to be the neck lifting the arm. We want the neck to stay relaxed. Head is in line with the spine. Yeah. Great. And now the next time the right arm comes up, stay. Let's bend the elbow more and set the hand so the back of the hand is at your forehead. It's like a dramatic little salute. And here too, we want to think about all around the shoulder blade as keeping the arm in this position. Nice. Down we come. Other side. So first just the lift. And then we bend the elbow a little deeper. Hand comes to the forehead. The back of the shoulder blade all around there is nice and strong, nice and engaged. And then enough is enough. Release the arm. Back to child's pose, whatever you want with the feet, whatever you want with the arms. If you want to add in a little wobble, I always love wobbling. Yeah, so we're going to give the hands a little break and come down onto the belly. I'll flip around this direction. So once you're here on the belly, let's stretch the legs back just one at a time, back and down, and take the arms back alongside you. Let's stretch out the wrist for a second. So you'll bend at the fingers, making a loose fist, and then bend at the wrist so the back of the hand peels up off the floor. Just hold this for a sec. And then we'll release the fingers, give them a little wiggle. Think about your front of the shoulders lifting away from the floor so the collarbones are nice and wide, the upper back is engaged, the shoulder blades fit onto the back, and then up come the arms, up come the legs. You can turn the palms of the hands towards the body. Think about growing longer, not so much going higher in this position. Yeah, Shalabhasana. And then let's take another one. Come on down, take a little rest, take a little wiggle. And then here we go again. The front of the shoulders lift, upper back is already engaged. And then keep that as we lift the arms, lift the legs. If it feels all right, turn the palms down towards the floor. And then if it feels all right, just do a small little lift and lower of the arms to engage the back of the arms, tricep. You could do this too with the palms facing the legs if you wanted to. Right, yogis. And then let's be done here. Come down, relax, give yourself a little wiggle, and take your time to meet back in downward facing dog, and we'll spend a little bit of time there. So, yeah. For me, the first one always feels nice to pedal out the legs. You can add that in, shift the hips back and forth, move your head around, anything at all. And then let's do this here. Stand with the feet. Let's go a little wider than you normally do for down dog. It doesn't have to go super wide, but it could. Knees bent. And without moving your hands, give the mat a push down and forward in such a way that the hips drop back away from the hands. Keep that, and if you feel yourself collapsing, I'm demonstrating that a little bit. Lift up a little bit through the low belly, through the low ribs so you don't collapse. And then slowly let's re-lengthen the legs. Now, if you start to round or pitch forward when the legs go straighter, just keep the knees bent so you can maintain this length in the torso. Yes, friends. All right, to get out of this, let's bend the knees, walk the hands back, and prop yourself up so the forearms just rest on the thighs. And if you need another little hand break, you can circle out the wrist, wiggle out the fingers. Yeah, so we'll stay in this position for a moment. Press the forearms down on the legs and don't move them, but try to pull them back towards the hip creases. Broaden the collarbones, engage through the upper back, and also create a little tone through the belly. Yes, here we are in this position. Looks like nothing, but there's a lot going on. Shift your weight a little more towards the heels. Press down into the heels. Use the inhale to rise. All the way up come the arms. And then as we put the arms down, turn the palms out and create a little resistance. Make it a little harder than it really is. Arms come out and down. Yeah, you're pressing down, pressing down, pressing down. Nice job, friends. Let it go. Wiggle around a little bit. All right. So just from standing, let's practice this again. Just stand in a whatever position is comfortable. Feet together a little bit apart, mountain pose. And then let's start here, slight bend in the elbows, hands are lower down than the shoulders. Collarbones are broad, the front of the body is toned. And as the arms start to widen, do that using the muscles in your upper back. And pause before you lose it in the upper back. Yeah, and just hold. Okay. And then come back to center, relax. Let's go one more time, this time with the straight arms. And again, hands just a little lower than the shoulders. As you're here, let's broaden the collarbones already. Create some tone through the front and let the back open the arms. Keep your fingers in your peripheral. Now this one will add on a little bit. Without taking the hands any further apart, let me rephrase, any further back, start to draw the fingers towards the sides of the room. Yeah. Can you do that from where the collarbone and the sternum comes together? Pretend your arm starts there. Oh, let's keep that. Turn the palms to face down. And now remember a second ago when we lowered the arms, pretend you're holding something down here with the arms. Press down a little bit. Yeah. And then that's that. Release, relax, let it go, wiggle it out. Nice. Let's take a little hula hoops. And then go the other direction. So let's stay at the back of the mat. Arms, this time just straight ahead. And do this. Lift the shoulders for a second. And then draw the whole arm bone back. Feel how the collarbones widen and the shoulder blades move a little closer together. When you go down, don't go all the way down. Just go a little bit down. That's it. And then when you pull forward again with the hands, don't go all the way forward. Just enough to feel the shoulder blades separate a little bit. Yeah, so we're going to do this in a second, a few different variations with weight bearing on the hands. So release the arms, give them a little shake out. Let's stay at the back of the mat. Inhale the arms up. On the exhale, palms face out, create a little resistance as we do our forward fold. Any bend in the knees is fine. And then we'll take our halfway lift, upper back is engaged. Lower yourself down. Let's first go to plank just for a sec. That's it. We won't stay. From your plank, lower the knees down. And then just a second, drop the chest. Move the chest forward and move the shoulder blades down the back. And then press into the floor, find that little lift. Yeah. Now remember earlier in class we were doing this kind of up and down thing? We'll go through that again, but this time it's a one-arm situation. So let's keep the right hand pressing down into the floor. Left hand clutches across the lower ribs. Yeah, so you just hold. And then we go up and down here on the right side. Now, if anybody is a hyperextender in the elbow, you know who you are, I think. Have a tiny little bend in the elbow. And if it's too much in general, just put the other hand down and return to the two-handed version. Let's stay next time you're in the pressing state. That's it. And if you want to add on to this, take your right leg and just reach it back, toes tuck under. Okay, not too bad. Let's release the arm, release the knee. Do this, take the right arm forward and just do a spider fingers for a second on the right hand, just to give the wrist a little break. Let's go straight into the second side here. So the left hand is the base. Let's press down first. Right hand comes across. We find that little clutch. And then lower the chest, press into the floor, and lift. Do this a few times. We want to feel the shoulder blade moving. And we don't want to feel the neck helping out. So if you're feeling the neck helping out, you might do less. You might change the position of your head. Do something so that it's all in the shoulder and behind the shoulder, around the shoulder blade. Let's stay in the pressing position. And then if you'd like to add on, it's the left leg that comes back, toes tuck under, and okay, down comes the hand, down comes the knee. Left arm a little forward, spider fingers just for a second. All right, guys, let's come back to the belly. So take your time to get down there. And we'll take the right hand on top of the left. You'll stack the hands, and you'll rest the forehead on top of the right hand. I get to keep my head up, though, just so I can talk to you. Now, earlier in class, we did that kind of salute position. It's basically that. So let's lift the head, the right arm with the bent elbow. Left arm stays down and just gently press into the floor. And then let's add on the left leg. So it's a contralateral, one arm opposite leg. Lower yourself down and swap it out. So it's the left hand. And then the right one presses down as the left one lifts, right leg lifts, and lower yourself down. So continue this a few more times. In the upper body, again, we want it to be the muscles around the shoulder blade that are lifting. In the lower body, think about engaging through the glutes on the side that you're lifting. The low back will also contribute, but we don't want it to be only the low back that's working here. All right, friends, last round. Once you're down, just rest there, bend up the knees, give the legs a little swish, just a little side-to-side movement. And then we'll reset, legs come down. Let's take down dog again with the wide position. So take your time to get there. Nice wide position. And we'll add on to this in the legs a slight internal rotation. So a little bit of pigeon toe. Toes turn in, heels turn out. Bend the knees a little bit. Press the mat forward with your hands. Send the hip creases back. And right at the upper thighs, press wide. Think about the lower back becoming a little broader across the back of the pelvis, widening. Add on to this. Hug in through the ankles enough so you feel the weight shift over the ball of the big toe, but don't go further than that. If you go further, the knees will collapse. And then slowly let the legs re-lengthen, keeping the pigeon toe, keeping the wide position. Yeah. And then let's reset. No more pigeon toe. You can stay wide. Bend the knees, walk the arms back, hands to the legs. Root down through the legs. Let's come all the way up. And then do that slow resistance. Out and down come the arms as you press. Awesome. All right, and then just relax for a second. You can move around a little bit. We'll take some poses here. I'm thinking warrior two, side angle, maybe a triangle with some of this arm stuff in mind. So you can join me here just in the middle of the mat. We'll orient this way. So I'll mirror you. Hands to the hips. Separate your legs. And let's go this direction first here. So the right leg will rotate in. The left leg will rotate out. And first, just a little warm up for the hips and the inner thigh. As you bend the left knee, let the pelvis tilt, so kind of side angle-y. And then we come back up to center. Do that a few times. And as we bend the knee, you can watch it. We want to make sure the knee tracks straight ahead. We don't want to let it turn in as it's bending. So inner groin to inner knee reaches outward towards the short end of the mat. Yeah, let's do one more like this. And then the next time the knee bends, keep the torso straight up and down. Yeah, pause here. The pelvis is on a little bit of a diagonal. Leave that alone. Square up the shoulders towards the long end of the mat. And let's take the first position here. So the elbows a little bit bent, hands lower than the shoulders. Use the upper back to open the arms. And then we come back to center. Do that again. Yes. And back to center. Let's do one with the straight arms, straight but not rigid. Still using the back to open the arms. Let's stay here from where the sternum and collarbone come together. Lengthen outward. Pretend your arms start there. That's it. And then turn the palms downward and just a little bit press down against something. Yeah. Nice. You can turn your face to look left if that feels all right. And then let's exit. Bring yourself back up to the center. You can bring hands to the hips again. We're going to go the same direction, but a different pose. So one more time, let's bend the left knee. Go ahead and add in that tilt in the pelvis that we did in the warm-up, and rest the left forearm on the left thigh. Pay attention to the second for the back, my words got a little jumbled. Okay, pay attention to the back leg. Press the heel down and press it back. Just enough that you feel the outer right hip kind of tone up a little bit. Yeah. And now on the front side, let the chest sink and then press down into the forearm and lift up. Yeah, so very similar to the scapular push-ups we were doing, but a different orientation. Let's stay in the pressing position and don't move the forearm. Try to drag it back towards the hip crease. At the same time, lengthen the left ribs outward towards the front or the short end of the mat. Yeah. Now this is a little funny for the top arm. Do this. Take the arm just straight out in front of the chest, shrug the shoulder for a second, and then plug it in. From there, we slice out on the diagonal. One long line between the fingertips and the right outer foot. Press again down and outward through the heel. Yes, yogis. Come up on an inhale. Oh, nice work. Hands to the hips. Let's do all of that on the second side. So first change the legs. Then we'll do our little warm up. You'll bend the right knee, let the pelvis tilt, reaching from inner groin to inner knee. And then reset back to center. Do that a few more times. Yeah. Let's pause. The next time you bend the knee, keep the torso straight up and down. So it's warrior two position. That's it. The pelvis will be on a little diagonal. Leave that alone. But let's square up the chest towards the long end of the mat. That's it. Come into our first position here, elbows bent, hands about at the navel level, and then use the upper back to open the arms. And then we come back to center. Nice job. Go again. Upper back opens the arms. And then back to center. This time we'll go with the straight arms. Same idea. Upper back opens the arms. Pause when you get to your position. Sternum and collarbone come together. That's where the arm begins. Lengthen, lengthen. And then we'll turn the palms of the hands to face down. Press down against your imaginary something. Yeah, good. You can turn your face to look right if you like. If not, just keep looking straight ahead. Good. And then we'll come up, take a little break. Hands to the hips. Nice work. So let's go again into side angle this time. Bending the right knee, finding the same tilt in the pelvis. Right forearm on right thigh. Pay attention to the back leg. Press the heel down and back in such a way that the outer left hip firms up a little bit. Keep that. And then on the front side, do a few of these. Yeah. I don't know about you. Sometimes we just tend to hang in this down position. Yeah, next time you're pressing, stay like that. And don't go anywhere, but try to drag the forearm in towards the hip crease. At the same time, lengthen the left side of the waist. That's the right side, sorry, the underside. Yeah, keep that. Create some tone here through the front. Take the top arm straight out from the chest, shrug the shoulder, plug it in, and then we slice out on the diagonal. Long line between the fingertips and the left outer heel. Keep the outer heel pressing down, back. Yogis. And then up we come back to center. Nice work. Let's parallel the feet. We'll come in for a second, either heel toe or step or jump. Yeah, make a little hula hoop for a second. Just move around and go the other direction. Yeah, we'll do one more pose in this sort of pose family. Let's just pause here for a second. Just another little break. Forearms on the thighs, wide on the upper thighs. Hug in through the ankles enough to make even weight on the feet, but not more than that. All right, and then root down to rise up and release the arms. So next we'll take triangle, and I want to show you what I see often in triangle, and hopefully with these instructions we won't do that. We'll do something else, but I just want to show you kind of the I don't want to call it a mistake, but sometimes where things go awry. So I'll show from this angle. In triangle pose, oftentimes the top arm, you see my top arm, it ends up kind of, I don't know, it feels like it's not connected to the rest of my body. And the hand, if you can see this, it's further back than my shoulder. The front of my shoulder has popped forward, and related to the rest of the body, there's no engagement here through the back line of the body and either through the front. So I'm just kind of, yay, surprise, here I am. So instead, what I want us to do, I'm going to have us get into it this way. We'll do the shrug plug, and then you'll use the back to lift the arm. And when we do that, we're less in danger of kind of pulling the arm back too far, and it's more supportive through the whole kind of upper carriage here. All right, so if anybody needs a block for your triangle pose, we'll get into it this way. You can set up the props here, one on each side. All right, so let's get into it the same way we did the other poses. You'll separate, and then the right leg turns in, the left leg turns out. Triangle is a straight-legged pose, but we're gonna enter with the bent knee. So bend the left knee, find that tilt in the pelvis, and then let's take your hand down either to the block, or if you're just putting the hand on the shin, that's fine. Now as the front leg starts to straighten, press the heel down and try to press it forward as the left thigh bone draws back, so they kind of move in opposition. Yeah, great. Let's keep that going on the front. On the back leg, press down through the heel. Let's take your right arm just straight out from the chest. We'll do our shrug and plug. Keep that, and then use your upper back to start opening the arm. You can follow it with your gaze if you like, or you can keep your head straight ahead if you like. That's it. Keep the engagement through the upper back. And then from where collarbone and sternum come together, think of lengthening the arm from there. Yeah. Do that on the bottom arm as well. Great. And then to get out of this, slight bend in the front knee. Press down through the back heel. Use that to exit. Up we come. And we'll do the same thing on the second side. So hands start on the hips. Change your legs. That's it. Bend the right knee. Tilt the pelvis. Find the hand on whatever you're using, the block or the shin, the floor if you can reach. And then from this position, let's push the heel down and try to press the heel forward as you draw the right thigh bone back so they move opposite of each other. Oh yeah, great. On the back leg, press down through the heel. Let's take the top arm, just straight out from the chest, shrug the shoulder, plug it in, and then from there, use your back to slowly open the arm. Maybe watching it, maybe not. And then from your position, sternum and collarbone, where that spot is, let the arm lengthen from there. Yeah, same thing on the bottom arm. And then here we are in this glorious version of triangle pose. The back is supporting you, the front is supporting you, the legs are supporting you. To get out, we'll bend the front knee a little bit. Press through the back heel, up we come to center. Parallel your legs. Step or jump or heel toe or all three back together we come. And then that's that. Just take a little bit of movement, anything at all. So I know it might have been a little tedious, so many little instructions, but I'm hoping it felt really solid. Right, we'll shift our orientation a little bit. Let's come to the front of the mat, and later on we'll want the blocks, so just have them handy. And we'll do this. Some of you have had this with me before. You can face the front. I'm just going to face the side. Let's take the arms up, but not all the way up, and have a slight bend in the elbows. The hands are a bit in front of your face. And you can pretend that you're trying to close a window, but it's stuck. So down it comes, like it's moving, but it's not moving easily. Yeah. Now, if we do that really aggressively, it'll start to it just be kind of aggravating. So what I'm hoping for when we close the window is that you feel some muscles right around the under part of the shoulder blade, right around the side here. All of that is engaging, but not right around the neck and the top of the shoulders. Let that go, shake it out. We'll do it a couple of times in a chair pose. So let's have the feet a little bit apart. Inhale the arms up, let that be easy. And then on the exhale, we bend the knees, bend the elbows, close the window. And on the inhale, we rise. Do that a few more times. So nice, slow exhale, a little bit of effort here. And the inhale is easy. Just let yourself rise. Let's go one more time. From the down position, reset, hands to the shins. On the inhale, stretch the legs straighter, collarbones wide, upper back is engaged. And then on the exhale, we come down. We're going to plank pose, or you could do plank on the knees. Can you broaden the collarbones? Can you lift up through the belly? Now this is a little harder in plank pose, like we did before. Let the chest sink a little bit, and then press into the floor and lift. Yeah, these little scapular push-ups. Take a few more rounds. And then the next time you're in the pressing state, stay like that. Bend the knees just a little bit and try to draw the knees slightly forward. Oh yeah, slowly, slowly. Set the knees down. Bend the elbows, lower everything down. We come to the belly. We take a little rest. If you want to wiggle the shoulders around, that's an option. And then let's give the hands a break. We'll repeat this one. So arms stretch back, curl the fingers and bend at the wrist and just hold that for a second. We'll just do one Shalabhasana here. So release the fingers, lift the front of the shoulders, broaden the collarbones, and then up come the arms, up come the legs. Grow long before you go high. Come on down, turn your face to one side, rest, wiggle, whatever you want to do. All right, let's stay here. We'll add in just a brief quad stretch. So you can put the left forearm in front, bend the right knee and hold on to the foot or the ankle. Any variation of this is fine. You can add some enhancements if you want, or just not. Good, good. Let's change other side. Right, and then release that. Let's head back, just a quickie downward facing dog. And then we'll meet in a standing forward fold. Oh, you know what? I changed my mind. Let's go back to downward facing dog. We'll just do a brief calf stretch while you're here. Step the right leg a little forward. Let's try to sink the heel towards the floor and bend the left knee. Oh, yeah, calf stretch. If you want to add in a little wobble, little side to side, that's an option. Okay, and then let's undo it. Do the other side, left one just a little forward, sinking the heel, and then the right knee come in. My calves are so tight. They're like steel cables. Okay, and then we'll reset. Downward facing dog. Let's come to the front of the mat for real this time. Slight bend in the knees, press into the heels. Go ahead, let's come up on an inhale. And then on the exhale, do that press out and down, creating a little extra resistance. Yeah. Might as well, right? Okay. And then just wiggle it out. That's enough of that. So we'll take Warrior One with a few of these kind of close the window actions. And then we'll come into a Parshvottanasana with a few extra bells and whistles. So if your blocks wandered, go get them again. Hands at the hips. Step the right leg back with the heel down on the floor, each leg in its own lane, like on a train track. Yeah. All right, press the back heel down and back. And keep that, let's take the arms up. Inhale. On the exhale, bend the front knee, bend the elbows, close your window. It's kind of a diagonal window. And then on the inhale, reset, up we come. Take that a couple more times. So the upper back is engaged, as well as kind of you're pressing against something with the lower part of the arm. All right, let's pause next time you're in the hinged position. Yeah, so collarbones are wide, upper back is engaged. Create a little tone through the belly too, so you don't just collapse there. And then slowly here, let's lengthen the front leg. Come on down, hands meet probably the blocks. Maybe some of you are on the floor. Just take a few times to bend and straighten the front leg, which will give you a little more of a hamstring stretch now that we're down. Yeah. Now, whatever height feels like a comfortable position in your arms, let's go one notch up from that. So for me, I'm going to set the blocks here. If you're already on the highest height, that's okay. Just go into your fingertips on the highest height. And then from this position here, can you broaden the collarbones? Don't go anywhere. Try to pull the blocks towards the back of the mat so the upper back engages, the shoulder blades move down the back, the collarbones broaden. Yeah, and you'll probably feel more of a stretch in the front hamstring, no doubt about it. Stay here on the front leg. Put a little more weight on the inner foot, it's the ball of the big toe mostly. Yeah, at the same time, let the outer hip draw in and back. As the arms continue to draw back, the chest continues to draw forward, and here we are. Now, if you're feeling this kind of getting aggravated at the upper part of the shoulders, maybe go even higher or make a block tower. You can stack blocks if you need to. Okay, let's come out of this, bend the front knee, step the back leg forward, root down to rise up, all the way up, and then create the resistance on the way down. Yes. Second side. So, hands to the hips, left leg back with the heel down on the floor. Press the heel down, press it back. Take the arms up. Inhale. Exhale, we bend the knee, hinge forward, close the sticky window. And then on the inhale, we rise. Take that a few more times, so create your resistance as you hinge. And then let's hold the next time you're in this diagonal position. Upper back is engaged, collarbones are broad, but at the same time, don't let the front ribs just, pop forward. Keep a little containment through here. Yeah, good. And then slowly here, we'll lengthen the front leg. Release the hands down onto whatever height feels good to you. Take a few rounds to bend and straighten just to get the hamstring stretch here. Yeah, actually, this side, I need to go on the higher setting. And then let's pause here the next time. Let's actually pause with a little bend in the front knee. I don't think we did this on the other side. With a little bend in the front knee. And let's do this first with the arms. So go one notch higher on the arms or on your fingertips. Try to drag the blocks back, chest comes forward, collarbones are wide, and then you'll press the front heel and foot forward as you drive the right hip crease back. Put a little more weight on the inner edge of the foot and let the outer hip hug in towards the midline. Continue to pull the arms back and the chest forward. Stay in this position. Upper back is engaged, alive, working. Collarbones are smiling. Maybe your face is smiling too. Okay, and then to get out, let's bend the front knee, step the back foot forward, root down to rise up, and then one more time, create the resistance. Oh yeah, as the arms come out and down. Okay, so let's do one more thing kind of like this. We've been in this position already a couple of times. You can join me here, legs not too wide, just a little wider than you normally stand. Knees bend, hips shift back, forearms come onto the thighs. And then let me explain this before we do it. So the inhale is just neutral, and then we'll twist on the exhale, keeping the elbow bent in that sort of this position. And we want to turn using the back to turn. And you won't go all the way. So we won't go here. It'll be maybe like 3/4 of the way. All right? So let's try it. Stay in your position, broaden the collarbones, tone through the belly. Inhale in neutral. And then on the exhale, we go to the right, bend elbow, use the back to turn. On the inhale, we reset, we're in the center. And then on the exhale, other side, we turn, elbow is bent. Inhale back to center. Take that a couple more times. So the back is what initiates the movement. Now, hopefully feeling right around the shoulder blade, whatever arm is the moving arm. Nice job, guys. Next time you're back to center, we'll stay. Last time here, root down to rise up, and then create the resistance. Palms press out and down. Oh, yeah. Stand here, just be very lazy. Slither asana. Just move around, let the shoulder blades move around. They've been working kind of hard. Good. All right. And then let's come down to sit. We'll sit in a Dandasana position. That's a staff pose. Now, feel free to elevate the pelvis if you need to sit on something to make a little height. Sometimes just sitting straight down, if you see here my pelvis is kind of rolling back. If you sit up a little higher, that'll help. Okay, so in your position here, whatever you're sitting on is fine. Legs are forward, and let's activate the feet. Press forward through the inner part of your heels. Keep that. And then in your hands, you can be on the fingertips if you like. Press down into the floor. Broaden the collarbones. And then some of you will just stay with the hands down on the floor. Some of you will lift the arms. But what we don't want to have happen is this. So if that's the case for you, stay here and use the arms as a little scaffolding so that you can stay up. Nice. Now, those of you who do have the arms up, think of using the arms to help lift the sides of the waist up. And without letting the arms go any lower, let the inner part of the shoulder just relax down a little bit. Yeah. Think also about the triceps, back of the arms to the pinkies, lifting up a little bit more. Okay. That's it for Dandasana. Release the arms. You can relax the legs, give them a little shake out. Yeah. So let's come down. Let's come down to your back. We'll do a little prep work for bridge, and then we may or may not actually do bridge. I like the prep work as much as the real thing. So the knees are bent, the elbows are bent, the palms face each other. Press down through the backs of the arms and press more towards the elbow side than the shoulder side. So press down there and think about the shoulder blades kind of tucking into the back and pressing up into the back ribs. We'll keep the position but let go of the effort. And then do just a few more of those. So we press down as we lift up. And relax. And one more time, press down as we lift up. Now feel free if you want to just keep doing that, that's great. If you want to join me in lifting the hips, you can. Keep the backs of the arms pressing down, closer to the elbow side. And sometimes in lifting the hips, we get a little jammed up. If that's happening, lift the heels, and that might give you a little extra space. Yeah, and then once you have the space, see if you can lower the heels, but maintain the height. Hey. And from here, friends, let's take another version. So come on down, you can untuck the shoulders, just pause for a second, or take a little side to side if you need. For this next one, it'll be different, and we will not be tucking the shoulder blades under. So go ahead, let's do this all at the same time. The hips lift up, and they don't have to lift high. It might just be a little bit. Stretch the arms up and back towards the wall behind you. And then if you can lift the heels, do. And think about the arms drawing back as the pelvis is moving away from the arms. Yeah? From here, go in super duper slow motion. See if you can lower one vertebra at a time. So the backs of the ribs eventually get down, the back of the waist, the top of the pelvis and the back. And then everything else comes down. And when it does, you can release the arms, release the heels. Let's take the feet a little bit wider, arms nice and wide, and just give yourself a little windshield wiper. Stuff is in the way. And then we'll pause here. Take the legs so they're not quite so wide. Let's lengthen the left one down on the floor. My blocks, I only have two, but they're in the way for everything. And then the right knee comes in, and we'll twist, bringing the right leg over to the left. So you choose how far of a twist, whatever depth is appropriate for you. And then we'll return to the center, changing out the legs. Right leg stretches long, left leg comes in, little squeeze. And then over we go, taking the leg over to the right side. You choose the depth. Yogis. So let's head back to center. If there's anything else that you need to do, maybe just like a stretch, a little reach, a little wiggle, anything at all before Shavasana, go ahead and take that now. And of course, if you need props for Shavasana, go ahead and take them as well. And let me see this here for Shavasana, those of you who are on your back. You won't do as much as we did in the bridge pose, but a little in a similar way. You can press the backs of the arms down and kind of wiggle the shoulder blades under your back so that they fit in a little better. And then here we are in Shavasana, our final resting pose. Most important thing is that you feel comfortable. So if you need to change your shape, please do. So take your attention here to the upper back, the shoulder blades, collarbones, arms. Just send out a little thank you to this part of the body for supporting your practice today. Thank them for the work they've done. And tell them it's now time to relax. Of any work that still might be happening. Also relax the sides of the neck, jaw, the tongue, all of the muscles in your face, around your eyes. your awareness back to your body. A little deeper, fuller breath. And whenever you're ready, let the knees bend. Pull yourself over to one side. And then from your side, take your time to press up. We'll meet in a seated position. Hands come to heart center. Thank your whole body for everything that it's able to do. And thank yourself for showing up. Namaste.